Joining us now is everybody's favorite data nerd, CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enten. It is a great Friday when we can see Harry. And Harry, when I think of the New York region, I certainly think of you. So when we think of these issues that we're talking about with Mamdani and Trump, there's some issues in common that Trump may see something in Mamdani, right?
Yeah, I think, the two Queens boys, and I'm a Bronx guy myself, we all come together. Nothing can break apart New York bros. That's what I say. And nothing can break apart Queens bros. And they do have something together, right? If we think about it, the top issue that they beat their opponent on back in 2024, Trump won on the economy, beat Kamala Harris on that issue by 63 points. Look at Mamdani. Very similar. Living cost, the cost of living. That was his top issue this year. Won it by 37 points. They both were able to win what will be Mamdani's first term in office come January and Trump winning his second term because they spoke to the economic concerns of voters.
And when we see that Trump graphic, it says 2024. It doesn't say 2025. How is that issue going for him right now, the cost of living?
Yeah, maybe he can take some lessons from Zohran Mamdani, because if we look right now in terms of Trump's net approval rating on inflation, 2 thumbs down. I mean, this is called the slippery slope down to the bottom. Look at this. In January on inflation, his net approval rating was plus 3 points. Look at where he is today. 34 points underwater. Alex, I know you're right next to the Pacific Ocean. I'm next to the Atlantic Ocean here in New York. I can say that Donald Trump at this point on inflation is swimming with the fishes.
That's not the only thing you have in the rivers near New York City.
No. Although we've tried to clean them up. We've cleaned them up. This is why I recycle.
Speaking of, though, President Trump's overall approval rating, where is he at now?
Okay, you see this, you see him down at 34 points on inflation. I think Americans think that Donald Trump has lost the plot. And that, of course, has had a massive impact on his overall approval rating because, of course, inflation is the name of the game these days. The economy is the top issue. Look at this. Trump's net approval rating, second-term lows, and I got 5 numbers for you going across the screen. The best is the Marquette University Law School poll, 14 points underwater. Then it gets progressively worse. 17 points underwater in Fox, 17 points underwater in Marist, 22 points underwater in Ipsos, and then rounding out, we have the AP North poll. Donald Trump is 26 points underwater. My goodness gracious, he's performing about as well as the Buffalo Bills offensive line did last night. Oy vey, oh my goodness gracious. But then I think the key question is, right, can you really take advice from Zohran Mamdani when it comes to a national audience? And we look at the net favorable rating, which is a nice close brother to net approval rating, has similar numbers, but not exactly the same. But look at this, the net favorable rating, Donald Trump, 13 points underwater, perhaps slightly better than his net approval rating, but still way underwater. But look at Zohran Mamdani nationally, 11 points underwater. They are brothers in more than just speaking to the economic concerns of voters, at least trying to. They are brothers when it comes to their popularity nationally, not doing too hot to trot. And again, I throw it back to you by just saying some Buffalo Bills reference because that game on Thursday night made me very, very sad.
Is it time to focus on college football maybe for you?
You know what? I will be going to the Harvard-Yale game on Saturday, 12 o'clock, the first time that any Ivy League team will be taking part in a playoff game since at least 1945 when the Ivy League opted out of the college football playoffs. And so it will be very interesting to see who wins that game. Not only gets to claim great pride over the other school, they also get to claim a playoff spot in the Division I AA, or I believe it is now the football championship subdivision.
Well, they call him man of the people for a reason. Harry Enten hanging out at the Harvard-Yale game.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You know me. You know me with my monocle on. I'm hanging out with all of the wonderful elitists of this world.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Harry. Have a great weekend.
You as well, my friend.
This is the president gushing about his meeting today at the White House with New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. He called it a great honor to sit down with the self-described democratic socialist. He also admitted they have more in common than he thought. But this comes after months of attacks against Mamdani, who President Trump has repeatedly called a communist. Today, the president says they could work together on crime, housing, and costs of living in New York. Interesting, they posed in front of the FDR portrait there. They spent more than a half an hour meeting before reporters arrived.
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused on New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him. but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats? I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City.
So a lot to unpack with our political panel. CNN senior political analyst Ron Brownstein and Matthew Bartlett, a Republican who President Trump appointed to the State Department in his first term. Let's talk about this other big Trump meeting today. Zoran Mamdani, the Democratic socialist in the White House, getting significantly better treatment than Marjorie Taylor Greene. How do you read that situation? Is President Trump playing some sort of 3D chess here?
Yeah, this evening has been just a heck of a year in politics. Whiplash, earthquakes, MTG out, Mamdani in the Oval Office. In just what was an extraordinary meeting. Two New York guys from Queens, palling it around like old friends, finding common ground around affordability. But again, the juxtaposition of the political ups and downs of this was just wild to watch. Whether it was both of their rhetoric around each individual name calling from a fascist or a despot to a communist seemed to be water under the bridge. And then this notion of making New York succeed and having some sort of a mutual admiration. I've heard that White House staff were just aghast, floored. And that, again, many in Republican politics certainly did not see this coming, as it undercut much of what has been said around not just Mamdani, but Democrats in general. Yet, anyone who's been a student of Donald Trump knows that he likes to be liked. He likes to be a good host. And it seems as if that is what we saw today.
I mean, Ron, is it possible that this helps both of them? I mean, it also potentially could hurt both of them. How do you see it?
Well, first of all, it's kind of consistent with the kind of what we've been talking about, that Trump's sole loyalty is to Trump. I mean, who has been more slavish of Trump than Elise Stefanik? And he just threw under the bus the core message of our campaign, that Mamdani is a kind of an unacceptable radical who will endanger the state. That's what she wants to run on against the governor, Kathy Hochul. But as another New York guy from Queens, I mean, the third one in this equation, just color me a little skeptical. And let's revisit this in 6 weeks. The administration is seeking, not only in New York, but in every city in the country, to condition virtually every dollar the federal government provides to local governments on them adopting a whole series of conservative policies that Mamdani is not going to accept, that he's going to fight in court. They've canceled the Gateway Project allegedly because of the city's DEI policies on contracting. Tom Homan is threatening, an ICE crackdown in New York. Let's revisit this in 6 or 8 weeks when some of the policies actually come into collision, and I will see whether they are as chummy as they appear today. Now, that's the way it looks to this other guy from Queens anyway.
We got to see you and Trump and Mamdani at like Flushing Meadows together. That would be a show that I would pay a lot of money to watch. Ron Brownstein, Matthew Bartlett, thank you both for being with us on a crazy night of breaking news in politics. Really appreciate it.